Coach, could you start off just talking about a little bit about the bye week and how you felt the team reacted during the time off?
I'll tell you after the game Saturday. I mean, I don't know how we reacted yet. I mean, I thought we had a good week of practice last week. I mean, I thought we needed some rest. We've been playing football for a long time, but I mean, we'll see Saturday. We should be rested.
A lot of the players have said, 5 week is a 5 week playoff, 5-game playoff. Is that sort of how you view it as well?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think it's any different the first week of the season, really. To me, you prepare and you play 1 week at a time. And I don't think that's, in my opinion, that hadn't changed since the beginning. I mean, you go Monday through Friday and play on Saturday, and win, lose, or draw, you got to start back over on Sunday. So, I mean, yeah, but I mean, starting from here on, obviously, it's critical because they're all conference games, so.
Last week, during practice, have you seen any type of changes in the offense, attitude-wise, how they're progressing for this game, for this week?
I mean, not really. I mean, I feel like hopefully we're starting to mesh together and just play ball. I mean, that's where you want it to get to, where you're not overthinking things. Just get out there and play, have fun. And I think in our off week, I think you saw that on both sides. Everybody was just relaxed out there playing ball. If you could ever get to that mindset on Saturday, I think that's what you strive for. Where you just play ball. You mess up, guess what? Play the next play. Not a big deal. Everybody messes up.
Coach, when you look at this Marshall team coming in, a lot of people projected them to be at the top of the East Division. They're probably not having the season so far they'd like to have. What do you see from this Marshall team when you look at them on film?
Well, I mean, they're talented enough to be at the top. I mean, everybody, right now at this point in the season, you have teams that are doing really good. You have teams that are right in between, and you got some teams that are struggling. Right now, they're struggling a little bit, but you know as well as I know, teams typically put it together when they play us. So we're expecting their A game, and I mean their A game is definitely good enough to beat anybody on their schedule. And I think everybody sees that, not just in this conference, in every conference across America. I mean, just the parity in football today is different than it was when I was growing up, and even 5 or 6 years ago. I mean, if you don't come to play, you're gonna get beat, and that's just the way it is. That's the reality of college football today. So, we don't. I mean, I know I don't look at opponents' records. I mean, it's irrelevant to me because I'm expecting them to play their best game, and I know that regardless of they win 1 game, 5 games, 4 games, 6 games, that if we don't play well and they do, you're gonna get beat.
Coach, after the way things kind of played out this weekend in the conference, you guys, specifically with UTSA losing, you guys are back to the situation where, like you guys have been talking about, it's a 5-game playoff. If you win out, you win the West. Is it obviously that's nice to be back in that position after the loss a couple weeks ago at UTSA?
Yeah, I mean, I think you got to be careful thinking about a whole month and a week in advance. Does that make sense? I mean, the whole 5-game deal. I mean, that's good to talk about, I guess, for some people. But to me, we have 5 weeks to play, and we got 5 basically opportunities of 7 days to prepare for each game. And so this week is its own entity, its own identity. And so to me, I'm not looking past anything but this week, because you know as well as I do, if we don't prepare this week and you go out and get beat, then all that stuff you talked about doesn't exist. So I mean, we don't need to get ahead of ourselves.
Coach, you talk a little bit about this Marshall team and what they do from a scheme standpoint, from what they're trying to accomplish on the field.
They mix up the back end a good bit. I mean, you can tell, that they've played everybody a little bit different week to week. There's been a couple of opponents that they look like they've schematically tried to do the same thing to, but they go into every week with a little twist, with a little different back end mentality. And so, it'd be curious to see how they come out and play us, to be honest with you. I've watched them play every game they've played. There's 2 or 3 opponents in there that are drastically different, in their approach. Why, I don't know. It's just the way it is, game planning, and the way it is preparing for games. So I would guess that they would have multiple ways to mix up coverages and try to confuse Nick and just, throw his eyes off a little bit. They do a good job in the back end of disguise and stuff. Probably as good as we've seen all year, really. Lining up in one thing and going to another, or acting like they're going to it and then staying, it's, and then you can tell they stress that a good bit.
How about the off week for you guys as a staff, or you personally? How did you?
Yeah, it was nice. I mean, Saturday just hung out with family. I had my 2-year-old had a birthday Saturday, so just was daddy for all day, which was nice. And so I just basically sat on the couch and on the ground and played with them and peeked at college football every now and again. I had a couple games I was going back and forth to, but I don't know how much I really watched them, to be honest with you, with Aislinn running around. It was more so of, giving her attention more so than diverting attention to less important things, I should say.
No clowns.
No clowns?
No clowns at the party.
No clowns at the party, nope. I tried to get Rip to dress up as a clown, but he wouldn't do it.
Coach had mentioned, I guess, shortly after the LSU game, that there may be some personnel changes, possibly looking at some, player personnel changes or whatever. But then he said this morning that doesn't look like that's going to be the case.
No, I mean, offensively, I think that, week to week, you've seen some slight changes, nothing dramatic, I mean, at this point in the season, the guys that have been playing the most are probably going to play the most, and so, I mean, I don't think you're going to see anything drastic there. Ultimately, the 11 guys we put on the field, it's our job really to, hopefully at this point in the season, to get those guys to be on the same page, and that's the biggest thing, is just to gel together offensively. And I thought, I kind of got that feeling in the off week that we were really just going out there running generic stuff, and it looked like we were, executing at a decent level. So hopefully everybody's kind of gelling together. Takes a while. Frustrating at times.
The offensive line, how is Bates doing this year?
Really good. I would say that over the past couple weeks, he might have performed at the highest level, to be honest with you. He's got a mean streak to him, plays hard, plays aggressive, really, really proud of the way he's came along. He fought through some injuries early in the year, but he's been really steady, been really, really steady in there the last few weeks, been proud of it.
Anything else? Coach, thank you.
All right, guys, appreciate it.